World Series of Jiu-Jitsu presented by CountFilms TV. Austin Edition.
Nice. Who's next? Here comes down. Speaking of today or
How you feeling, Count?
scroll to the bottom of this, tap agree, and do it again on the next page. Maybe I'll move up.
At least fill up down that way. What's familiar with EBI rules and how EBI overtime works, correct? So for beginning rounds, it's 6 minutes with one possible overtime round. And then finals and semifinals are 10 minutes with 3 possible overtime rounds, okay? So if you're in a match with 2 or 3 people, it's always 10 minutes. I'm not, a division with 2 or 3 people, it's always a 10-minute round, okay?
Submission only. No submission within the regulation time. We're going on 3 rounds of EBI overtime. Do you have any questions? Any questions? 10-minute round. Timekeeper ready. Ready? Go!
You're up on time now.
I like you playing on one knee. Whenever it's on. Right knee over the elbow, right knee. Gotta get him behind the elbow. Yep, so elbow to elbow.
Ordered by Anaconda. Nick.
Thank you.
Nick Ortiz won that match.
First main rule is no sandbagging. So if you guys are a black belt and you're competing in the white belt division and we find out, you're disqualified from further events. So please make sure that you don't abuse that. Okay, so we're gonna start with just rules in general, and then we'll move into rules for each specific belt division. First rule is obviously no small joint manipulation. So you cannot just grab a guy's finger or toe and try to rip it off the foot. If you're gonna grab fingers at all, trying to defend chokes or fingers, you have to grab at least 3 fingers on the hand, okay? So if you're grabbing the guy's hand, for example, can I take your back for a second? If I have Kamoy's back here, and I start to choke him, and he reaches, sorry, if I reach up to start to choke him and he grabs my fingers, trying to grab this hand fingers, yeah, he cannot just grab one finger like this and try to break it off, right? He's got to grab at least 3 of my fingers in order to defend the choke. Does that make sense? Clear about that? Okay, and also he cannot just grab one of my toes and start to crank on it like this, okay? Thank you. No neck cranks or cervical or spinal manipulation. So you cannot do anything that involves twisting of the neck. Darce, of course, any kind of choke is legal, but if it involves any kind of twist, for example, if you have a guy in a crucifix, you can choke him, that's fine. But if you start trying to pull like a Hicks and Gracie in that Fight Science thing, if you guys ever saw that, pulling on the neck, that's illegal. Or somehow trying to twist the neck and manipulate the spine, that would be illegal. Are there any questions about that? The only thing that's legal as far as that would be considered a spinal manipulation would be the twister for blue belts and above. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Illegal. No can opener. Nothing on the neck. Good question, though. Any other questions about that? Okay. So nothing on the neck. No striking of any kind. No punching, kicking, knees, elbows. No striking of any kind. No eye gouging or fish hooking. Fish hooking is putting fingers or in any of the orifices. Okay. No grabbing on the ear. No pulling the hairs. No scratching. No pinching. No kicking, biting, No touching of the groin area. No hands, knees, or elbows on the face. What this means is, can you put me in the guard, please? I can put pressure on boy's neck I cannot squeeze or pinch on the trachea, right? But I can put pressure with my hand or my forearm on the neck like this. But what I cannot do is dig my elbow or push my palm on his face and put pressure, smashing the face or anything near the eyes, okay? Can I go to side control? If you're in side control, you can put pressure on the neck like this, that's fine, but you cannot dig your elbow, or put pressure on anywhere on the face or anywhere near the eyes. Make sense? The only thing that's legal for a purple belt and above, give me your back, that would involve hands on the face would be the Anaconda Choke, where you cover the mouth and the nose at the same time. That would be legal for purple belts and above. Any questions about that?
Well, just one question.
Yes, sir?
Is that also legal in EBI overtime?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Just knee on neck / throat for a couple of variations of knee on neck.
As long as on the neck, it's okay. Great question. I'm sorry. One more thing. Go on your side control. So, for example, if you're in a kimura or something like that, or you put the knee on the head, that's fine. But if he's on his face like this, you cannot drop your knee onto his face and smash his face with your knee. Does that make sense?
But all the choke variations are pretty
Choke
good, right?
variations.
As long as you're not hitting the jawbone and trying to crank, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's up to the referee's interpretation. So if it looks like you're trying to be a jerk, you're going to get a warning. And if you do it again, you'll be disqualified. Any other questions about that? No slippery substances on the body. Don't grease yourself up with Vaseline before you compete in no-gi. No grabbing of the clothing in no-gi. Okay, so in no-gi, you're not allowed to grab the shirt or the pants. Obviously in the gi, that's different, but there's no gi divisions today. Okay, overtime starting positions we'll talk about in a second. Adult blue belt rules. So white belt and children, there's actually no children today. So white belt divisions, no foot locks. Nothing below the waist. That includes electric chair and stuff like that. Okay, so no submissions below the waist. Everything has to be from the hips up. For blue belts, you are allowed to do straight foot lock and toe hold. Okay, but nothing twisting of the knee. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Calf slicer would be legal because it's not a twisting of the knee. Yeah. Yes, sir. If your head, give me your foot for a second. Can you see me right now? If I have this grip on his ankle, this is okay. But if I have this grip on his ankle, that's illegal. Does that make sense? So if you're here and you're putting pressure and you twist, that's okay. But it's the second you start to twist on his foot like this, it becomes illegal. Does that make sense? What? No heel hooks. Basically no heel hooks. Straight ankle lock is fine. Knee bar is fine, and toe hold is fine. Okay?
And our like the block and electric chair.
That's fine too. Blue belts and above, yeah. As long as it's linear pressure, but as soon as it starts to become rotation, that's when it gets a little more advanced, and I don't want anyone to get hurt. Permanent damage. Yes. Any other questions about blue belt leg lock rules? So, toe hold, knee bar, straight foot lock or straight ankle lock, legal for blue belts. Nothing twisting of the knee, no heel hooks. Okay. For purple belts and above, everything's legal. Toe holds, heel hooks, reverse heel hooks, whatever, any leg positions you want, it's fine. Okay. That being said, I forgot, all leg positions are legal for all belt levels. So you can reap. You just can't turn it into a submission. Okay. So does everybody understand what I mean? I don't care if your foot crosses the hip line or stuff like that. As long as you're not twisting on his ankle with your knee, it's fine. Make sense? Are there any questions about the general rules before we go into overtime? Yes.
Can you jump guard?
You can jump guard, yes, at all belt levels, yes. Any other questions? Good, okay. For overtime starting positions, you have the option, the referee's gonna have you flip a coin, the winners get to decide which position they take. You have the option of either taking the opponent's back with an over-under grip or a seatbelt grip, You can choose whatever hand position you like to start with. So I can start this way, you can start this way. If you have some other variation you like, you can start. But one arm under the arm, one arm over the neck, over the shoulder. Okay, and you can start either side, it's up to you. All right? He has the option to choose any defensive hand grip he wants. So if he starts like this, that's fine. Whatever he wants to do to start to defend himself, that's fine. The referee is going to make sure verbally that you're both ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Once you both say yes, he's going to say 1, 2, 3, go, or 1, 2, 3, start. And that's when you go and we start keeping time. Keep time of fastest submission or fastest escape. So for example, if I tap him in 10 seconds, he taps me in 5 seconds, when it's his turn, he wins. Does that make sense? Okay. The other option to start with starting position is spider web. You have one arm under his arm and one hand on the mat. That's the rule. The main rule is that you have one hand on the mat. You can start with either arm, whichever side you like. You can start this way or this way, but one hand has to be on the mat and one hand has to be underneath his arm. Does that make sense? He can start with whatever defensive position he wants. He can start with this, or if he felt so inclined, he could start something like this. It's up to him how he wants to defend. It's up to you which side you want to start with. Does that make sense? Any question? And you can choose left arm or right arm as the attacker. Okay? Okay, let's talk about transitions to make sure we're clear on that. If I start on his back and he escapes to any position other than the back, he's escaped. So actually take my back for a second. As long as the threat of submission is still live, the position is still live. As long as he has this over-under grip, the position is pretty much going to be live, regardless of whether or not he has hooks. So even if I escape his hooks, as long as he still has this and his chest is on my back, I'm still in danger. The position is still live. I'm not out until I've completely escaped and turned and faced him, and it's obvious that you're completely out. If, for example, take your back for a second. If, for example, I'm here and he starts to escape his hips, and I somehow switch to a head and arm, boom, this would still be live, okay? However, it would stop once he gets his arm out. Now it would be over, okay? But as long as the threat of a submission is still there, the position is still live. Does that make sense? You can also transition between submissions. You can transition from here to an arm lock, for example. This would be legal, okay? Or you can start from an arm lock and you can transition to the back. That's fine. As long as it's in those positions. You cannot transfer to a leg lock, okay? And if you escape, if he gets to the mount, it's over. If he gets to side control, it's over. If he reverses it, gets on top, it's over. Put me in an arm lock for a second. Oh, one major important rule. No slamming. That's the main difference between us and true EBI rules, is that no slamming out of submission. In EBI rules, from my understanding, if you're in a triangle, for example, and you pick the opponent up, he has to let go. You can't slam him, but he has to let go. Here, he can hold the submission, okay? So do not slam out of any submissions. That's an automatic disqualification. That being said, let's say I escaped the arm and for some reason we ended up in a position like this. As long as my arm is still in danger, the position is still live. I'm not out until I've somehow completely escaped and I'm no longer in a threat of submission and I've disengaged. If, for example, could you switch to a triangle from here, please? If I'm here, I pull my arm out and he switched to a triangle, the position would still be live. I'm not out until I'm completely out and safe. It's up to the referee to decide whether or not you've escaped. If you think you've escaped, and you stop fighting and he catches you, it's your fault. So defend yourself at all times. Are we clear? Don't stop fighting until the referee tells you to stop. No slamming. I think we've covered all the general rules. Any questions before we get started? Okay, I'm gonna, because a couple of people are competing in both the Purple Belt Open 205 and the 185, we're gonna separate those divisions so that everyone has a fair shot so we're gonna start the Purple Belt 185 division first. That's gonna probably be on this mat here. We're going to start the regular divisions on this mat over here. Once we get to the first round of the purple belt, we're going to throw in a few of the other matches, like the blue belt, white belt matches. No offense to you guys. on this side, okay? So to give those guys a break in between rounds, maybe 3 or 4 matches. Then we're gonna go through round 2 of the purple belts while we're doing other rounds over here. Give those guys a break. So we'll start the open weight 205, probably somewhere around, I'm gonna guess around 1 o'clock would be my assumption, okay? If that's your only division, then we should be done today. We should be done today by, at the latest, I'd say we'll be done by 3, okay? Otherwise, just listen for your division, listen for your name, and if you have any questions, I'll be up at the podium. You can come ask me, okay? Any questions? Yes. Okay, great question. It's going to depend on how many people are in your division. The divisions with the most competitors or the most matches are going to go first. So, but the divisions with 2 or 3 people are double. I'm sorry, are not double. Are actually large because they have many, even though there's only 3 people, there's many matches, right? Because it's double elimination. So we usually do those matches first to give those people a break in between matches. So most likely divisions with 2 and 3 people are going to be going first, then 4 and 5 and 6 division will be kind of mixed in, okay? Any questions?
If it's 2 or 3 people, is it like a best 2 out of 3?
It's double elimination.
Double.
So you have to lose twice to be out,
Oh, gotcha.
okay? Does that make sense? So if you lose the first round, you still have a chance to come back and fight to redeem yourself. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah, I'm
you know
used to
what I
seeing
mean. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Yes. I'll announce it. Just keep your ears open. Okay. Thank you, guys. So, white belt. Purple belt men's.
CountFilms TV, y'all.